Hey everybody, how are you? My name's Donna Ogozalek and I'm an educator with East Coast Salon Services. I'm so excited to bring to you today uh, 3 fun looks in my Fantastic Finishes class. They are simple, easy, and fun to do, and something that's very user-friendly for the salon. If you have a mannequin head, I invite you to get out your mannequin head, to elastics, sectioning clips, uh, products are key, guys, when you are going to be doing updos. Whether you have a smoothing product, a texturizing spray or paste, hairspray, know what your products do and what looks you're trying to achieve, and I'll talk about that as we go through the videos. So I'm excited to get started. Have fun, guys. Hello everybody, thank you for coming to our education online. I'm so excited to bring to you today our first look. It's so simple. We are simply using 2 ponytails. The first ponytail takes about 3/4 of the head of hair. The second ponytail takes about 1/4. I've divided the hair to separate the 2 sections from the center of the eye to the nape of the neck, and then I secure that higher and then place that other section away. What I just showed you was Express Refreshing Dry Shampoo, and now I'm showing you the Tri-Action Heat Protection Serum. So when I have a client, I like to use something that's gonna add a little texture to the root of the hair. That's where I use my Express. And then the rest of the hair for this look, I did my Tri-Action Heat Protection because it gives me amazing shine. It's anti-frizz, and it also gives you heat protection. I'm using again my Express from Corral. It's a dry shampoo that is amazing. It refreshes your hands so that you have a nice clean feeling to your hand when you're doing your updos. So smoothing the hair, making sure it's very pretty before we start, simply dividing the hair into 2 sections and twisting the hair. What I do is just wrap that hair around the elastic. I am using large bobby pins because I find that for my guests that have really thick, dense hair, it gives me so much more security so that I'm rest assured that when they're dancing the night away, that their hair is lodged beautifully and securely into place. What I'm doing here, this is a nice way to secure the ends, is simply tuck a bobby pin onto the ends, wrap it. You saw that I kind of twisted those ends under and then just slid it right behind the little bun shape that I have here, which is multi-directional. I also want to make sure that it feels secure in the center. And then just once I get that secure feeling, I feel free to wrap and redistribute the hair. I want to take a look and keep in mind how far down the nape I want the hair to lie, how high, usually about the occipital, slightly below. The width of a person's head is also important, and the round of the bun. So working with products and bobby pins, you continue to push and pull and shape into place. Keeping in mind that the next ponytail that I have pinned away is going to be used as decorative ornamentation across the top. Right now, I am using the Fixer Stronghold Protective Finishing Spray, which is anti-humidity from the Style Perfetto line of Corral. You can also see one of the things I like to do is if hair kind of seems like it's not quite laying the way I want it to, you can calm those ends by spraying the hairspray and then sliding your hand slowly across the section. The heat of your hand is going to help calm that. Right now, what I'm doing is taking some hairpins. As I shifted my guest here, I could see a different angle and a different shape, and that I wanted to secure the hair a little closer to the head at the top of the bun to create a really pretty round. Can you see how that's starting to shape, to take some place there? So now we are actually taking that elastic. We will be sliding that out to the ends of the hair very soon. But right now, I am prepping the hair with the Crystal Water Wax. It gives the hair a lot of shine. It's going to give me a lot of control as I start to manipulate that hair. So now we slide that elastic out the hair a little bit. What I'm going to do now is split that hair in two, take that ponytail and wrap it from underneath and pull it through. You can already see how pretty this is going to start taking shape. So I'm just kind of tucking those ends under around the right side of the bun, tucking it into around the bun. I wrap that shape around the bun and secure it into place. Already it's starting to look so pretty, isn't it? So we're just going to keep working. You can see the potential here, right? It's certainly not finished, but we're well on our way. So just keep working it until it looks visually pleasing to your eyes. One thing I recommend is sometimes we can be a little too close to the hair, especially if you're just starting out doing updos. Step back and just really take a look at the balance, the details, and where you want to refine it. So again, seeing how I took those ends and tucked it under, and from the angle that I was standing, I see now that I missed an end, but no worries, because now I see it. And this is going to happen sometimes when you do updos. You go around different angles, and from maybe the place that you secured it, it might need a little fine tuning, and that's all well and good. Up away you go, right? So that little piece of hair there, I just want to shape down around the ear, pinch and pull around the crown. See how we're adding a nice round? Did you ever see sometimes when you do an updo, you're kind of like, something's off? Chances are maybe you need a little more lift at the crown, and not all is lost, right? If it doesn't have that lift that you're looking to do. You can simply pull a little bit out, a little bit at a time. And you can see the round at the top of the crown. I want to secure this a little bit tighter. That's my personal preference to see how I want it to look with my eye. And just simply rounding. I see the little hairs running away there. So just keep working it until you guys are pleased. And check the hair from all angles, from the front, the side. Have your client stand up. When you check from all different angles, that is your best asset. Right now, I'm also checking from the front, maybe giving a little bit of a lift. I had to pull a little bit of hair out, so I had a real pretty dip. What do you think? She said she loved it. Hey everybody, are you ready for our next look? So this next look is so much fun. It's a Boho Chic Fishtail Braid. I'm taking my section from the top of the head to behind the ear. I did a diagonal part here to the crown of the head, and also from the top of the head down to around behind the ear. Beginning at the center of the section. You can actually do this in the middle, or you can do it like it's a side braid, depending. All you would do is just comb all the hair instead of from down to the center. You could just comb it off to the side that you're trying to direct the braid. So what I'm doing now is, you know, when your clients come in and their ends just quite aren't hydrated looking, they're dry. So this is just helping to make those ends look beautiful, so that in the finished product, it just makes it that much better. The details are what matter, everybody. So what I'm doing here is combing again. You want to make sure the hair is nice and easy to slip through, because the second part of this is going to actually be pushing up, but we want it to slide up without resistance. Dividing the hair into two. If you're not familiar with doing a fishtail braid, it's very easy. You really only have two sections, and I'm taking large sections because we really don't need a very fine fishtail, because that would actually make it harder to push up in the after. So what we do is we take the outer section of the two sections from the outside, and we cross it over into the opposite hand. Again, from the right, you can see I'm crossing it over into the center left. From the outside left, I cross it into the center right. I continue to do this all the way down the parting. So trying to keep your hands low instead of towards you, because what happens if you take it out towards you, you're going to have a little bit of a gap in the hair. So just keep on going down, again, keeping the sections on the bigger side, and don't worry about consistency quite as much, because any inconsistencies are actually going to look really cool in the finished end result. So I'm getting down towards the bottom and I'm working. I leave a little bit of a tail, guys, because when you leave a little bit of a tail, you'll have something to work with, and you'll see in just a second. Okay, so turning this a little bit so you can see. So I fan out that bottom here. And what I do is insert my fingers and take my other hand, and I'm going to be using my left hand to push up, and I just take a few hairs, and you can see it's starting to take a really, really fun look. So when I seem to get a little bit of resistance to the hair, I pick a new strand of hair, and when that seems to push back to me, I pick another strand. So once I'm finished, I kind of redistribute the hair, push it up again, and see if it's where I like the look. So grabbing an elastic, I tie an elastic at the bottom. I think another fun thing to do, if you've ever seen braids where you tease the bottom, but in teaching the classes, there's some people I know who get uncomfortable with having that disheveled look. So for the sake of everybody here, I just put a pretty elastic at the bottom that I squeezed or pulled the hair up, and it covered up that section. So what I'm doing right now is just adding a little bit of texture and hold to the hair to help me push and pull the hair. You can see that I'm starting to get a nice little round shape at the occipital. Look at the nice round, pretty finish. And you guys, this is without any teasing. Pretty cool, right? And this can be done so quickly in the salon. Your younger clients are going to love it. I know bridal season is upon us. I've actually done this for a couple brides who really had a nice relaxed look. They didn't want anything too formal, but it just makes it look somewhat finished and fun and funky. So what I'm doing is taking the front section, and I'm probably going to take about 2 sections here. Right now I'm using my crystal. It's a really nice liquidy clear finish, and what it's going to do is give my hair shine and control, because I'm going to be doing some push and pull. If you don't use product, it's not going to quite have the memory. The hair may fight you a little. This gives me a little bit of control. So you can see I'm actually wrapping and walking around the shape of the head. This helps also. I like to do this when I'm doing details with braids. I kind of walk around the head in the section that I know I'm going to wrap it. This assists you in everything falling into place. So can you see down towards the middle there? It almost looks like, did you ever see a rope that's kind of disheveled or old, like on a ship or some sort of decor at a restaurant? I think it's really neat. I think it kind of mimics that. So here I'm turning. You can see you just start pinning it into place. I'm pinning it a little bit lower on the head. And when you're doing this kind of finishing, it's really about trying things on. I might use a hairpin at first, because when you use a hairpin, you're not married to it. So if I like it, then I may go in with a bobby pin to kind of marry it. So that little end here, this is a definite personal taste thing. I think it's kind of neat because I'm going to leave a little bit of that end out. Can you see how pretty that looks? To those of you that don't love that, you can simply tuck that in behind the braid, put a little bobby pin to secure it, but it kind of mimics the bottom of the fishtail, doesn't it? Like a little mermaidy look. So here we go with the next section. Again, I'm going to take my crystal wax, and what I'm doing here is I kind of emulsify it and let the heat of my hands melt the product a little bit. It helps it to distribute through the hair really nicely. You can use the texture spray. I like the finish of the crystal wax because I love, love, love the shine. Here I'm trying something a little different just to kind of show you a little bit differently. You can simply twist the hair and push and pull it apart, but when you take the section into two, it gives you a little bit of a different effect and you see what you prefer. And I also like to kind of, within a hairstyle, maybe you might want to do a braid. It's up to you, but you can play with these looks and see what you prefer. So again, I'm kind of marrying it into the next section, but I decided that I wanted to play with this a little. You can take a look towards the front of the hair and see what the hair wants to do. Like you can see, it's not quite going exactly into place like if you were doing like a chignon or a very detailed thing. It's a very artistic venture. You want to see how it's shaping around the head, and it's a very does it look right here? Let me see how it looks if I bend the hair this way. So I thought here I was going to be going around the left of the braid, but I decided to kind of do a little wrap and go back around to the right side of the braid. But it's looking pretty cute, right? Okay, so now we're going to go to the other side of the part. Combing through the section just helps to look neat and clean. What I'm doing here is I'm weighing. I know I'm going to want 3 sections on the heavy side of the head. So just making sure I have enough hair in my first section and what I will have left. So again, the crystal, melting it in the palm of my hands, working it through the section, combing it back through just to make sure it's evenly distributed. And I'm going to be wrapping it around the head. I'm trying not to walk in front of the camera here. Here we go. Oh, my client's trying to assist me too much. Back up you go, honey. All right, so we're going to start pushing and pulling. So you want to leave enough looseness in your holding hand at the end of the section so that you're able to kind of pull the hair. And if you're not kind of liking, did you see how I kind of grabbed the end and pushed it up a little bit? So I had a little bit more play and excitement in my section. So I started with the hairpin here. I wanted to see how the hair was going around the head. And then I went back in with the bobby pin to secure it and took that hairpin out. So again, looking at the distribution of the previous hair and where does it look right to you? If you're not sure, try a hairpin and then step back. And then if you like where it is, anchor it in a little bit more solidly with the bobby pin. All right, so you see what I did to the right section where my right hand was. I actually put in a bobby pin at the end of the section and then just slid it in. And that's a really easy way to just anchor that in quickly and easily. And you can go back in and do a little bit more details, like right here. I wanted to give that a little bit more of an anchor, control, and lift. Spraying with my spray, my fixer spray from Corral, just to kind of give a little bit of texture and hold. Now I'm dividing this last 2 sections. We're almost done. Leaving enough hair out on the top to wrap around the top as my finishing touch. So I want to fill in around, you could see I had the outer corners around the parietal ridge and through the side of the hair. So we're going to start filling in through the top of the hair and the crown. It has a really nice round. This is really fun for your younger clients. Even if I have clients coming in for the weekend and maybe they're going out to a special dinner, sometimes I will do this just for free, just to kind of showcase some of my skills. And let me tell you what, guys, you start doing this in the salon and the other clients are going to see it, your client coming in after your appointment that you're doing this for. If you have an extra half hour, I've done this with, when I started new at a salon in New Jersey, I didn't really have any clients because I was brand new. I didn't know anybody. And so I took some special time, just like, hey, would you mind if I spend a little bit of extra time doing something special for your hair today? I have the time if you do. And it ended up getting me a lot of new clients. So just an idea, especially if you want to practice your looks. Okay, we're coming in towards the end here. And you can kind of see I just wanted to sculpt it and add a little bit of volume to the top of the hair. I just push and pull, and don't get upset, you guys, if you do this and it's not 100% your very first time. I definitely recommend having somebody to play with updos if you want to try a new hair color, anything like that before you take it out to your client. I have my clients who I know, like, hey, have this really fun look that I'm trying. Do you mind if I try it? And, you know, you have your clients who love you and appreciate you. And this is really fun. So you can kind of see the top of the hair here. I just need to kind of work with it, just redistribute. I didn't have my mirror in front of me at this appointment. So I'm just kind of combing through, making it look a little more cohesive. Just dragging and pulling. Use your eye to discern where you need to redistribute the hair. It's looking pretty, isn't it? What do you guys think? All right. This has been so much fun. Thank you guys for joining me. Okay, are you ready for our last look here, guys? So we are beginning the look by taking a very high ponytail, neatly combed into one section high on top of the head. I placed a ballerina bun form over top of that entire ponytail. And what I like to do is actually anchor that almost like a north, south, east, and west at the bottom of the bun and into the hair so it doesn't lose its placement while you're working on the hair. You can see I've equally divided the hair into 5 sections, and I pre-clipped them away to make it easy. So I have a nice distribution of hair to work with. So again, I'm working with 2, I subdivide that each section into 2 and twist those pieces around each other. Then I kind of stretch that section that was on the lower portion of my sections up and around the bun. What we're going to do is to start building a round shape on the head. And of course you can see I used a darker bun form. I wouldn't want to use a light blonde bun form just in case the hair's on the finer side, which in this case it is not. But the closer you get to the hair color or a deeper shade on using on darker hair, the better. But our goal is to really cover up that form. You can see I take those twists and I fill it out so that I have a nice bit of substance and width to work with. So just keep wrapping around the bun. We're going to want it to look nice and full and round by the end. Any little ends you can see I just tucked and wrapped, trying to take advantage of covering the bun, excuse me, the bun shape. So also getting the hair to stay into place, I can just start pinning it directly into the form. Okay, another section. We want to make sure, guys, that these are nice and clean. Again, using my crystal from Corral, you can see it gives the hair nice shine and shape, dividing the hair into 2, wrapping it around neatly, and then pulling again, not so much for a bohemian kind of look, but for fullness and width so that we can really make that look like a really interesting shape. It's going to have some really pretty twists and turns. And don't worry if it's not looking right fully into place, because as you see with the other shapes, we're just going to keep working with it and molding it around the head. Again, my client here has incredible density to her hair, so I'm choosing to use bigger bobby pins. So again, I only have about 2 more sections left. You can see that it's already starting to take shape. So what I'm doing is kind of planning where those sections are going to be going and to kind of see the distribution and what the hair is telling me that it wants to do. Because guys, I'm sure you've had all well planned out hair maps and all of a sudden the hair just seems to be fighting you. So I like to see which way the direction that the hair seems to assist me in getting a pretty look. So I tried it underneath. I didn't love it. So I decided to go on top, knowing that I'm probably going to have to take that next section to fill in where I chose not to. But you can see the beautiful round shape that we're starting to get here. And don't worry about any little pieces. Just know it's not going to be perfect as you go. Just like I always used to say with a little kid, when they would come in and I would take one section of the hair and they would say, oh my goodness, it just doesn't look right. And I would explain to them, you know, when you're coloring a page, say of an Easter bunny, you're coloring the ears. Is the whole picture done? Is it beautiful yet? And they say, well, no, I'm not done. And so I kind of explain that to my clients as well. And I like to tell stylists who are new to doing updos the same kind of story, that just know that you're not finished yet. And it's a process, but the more you get comfortable, the more you play, the more you understand it is a work in progress. But you can see that it's pretty well covered here. It's starting to take a pretty round shape. This is my last section, so I just really need to fill in the rest of the bun so it looks a little bit more completely round. So that means me going, I'm going back around to fill in that space there, just to make sure it's secured nicely. And then I had to retwist the hair because I just wanted to make sure that that last piece that I did was really pretty. But you can see how that's nicely filling in. And as I work with more bobby pins and putting it into place, it's really starting to come together. So just securing those ends, making sure that everything's covered. If it is, then you can just tuck it neatly underneath. But a way to make it look really pretty is to just keep twisting so it has a really finished look. And then what we're going to move into next, after we're through making sure that the top looks beautiful, putting any hairpins into place if we need to, redistribute the hair, making sure everything looks pretty, is also taking a look at the perimeter throughout around the face. I found in a little bit that it looked a little flat. So all is not lost, guys. If it starts to look a little flat, you can just, you can try and pull it. You can insert your comb, the rat tail, and just lift underneath, which you're going to see in a second. So I just want to loosen that hair a little bit just to kind of get a little bit more lift. See how that lifted up around the face? And we're just fine tuning here. And guys, at this point, I was in a race against my phone. I had done 3 looks and it was starting to blink and go dark. So typically what I do is go through and fine tune those little hairs and calm it down with the palms of my hands, slowly running it up so it's nice and neat and clean. I can see a few little flyaways here, which I would ordinarily fine tune that hairstyle. I also wanted to show you how upgraded a hairstyle looks. I just got this little piece at AC Moore. It's really for making bracelets and necklaces. I got it on clearance, guys. You can go through. It was like $3 on clearance, and I just didn't cut them apart to put them in a necklace or a bracelet and just pin it into place. But it just really helps things to look upgraded, don't you think? So it's been a pleasure being with you